It is 3:55 in the afternoon. The bells ring, calling to prayer. As the friars conclude Vespers in the choir, the faithful wait until they can enter the chapel of the apparition and light the candles they will carry in procession, commemorating the Easter rite of the passage of fire. When everyone has received the light from the altar of the Blessed Sacrament, the centuries-old daily procession into the Basilica of the Holy Sepulcher begins. The earliest records of the procession date back to 1336. This testifies that the friars practiced this form of prayer from the earliest days of their arrival. We have to think that the basilica, from the time of the Crusaders' departure, was locked every day. The porter in charge of it was a Muslim. When pilgrims arrived and asked to enter the basilica, they had to pay tribute to the porter, who then opened the door for them. Brother Stefan tells us that in the pilgrims' diaries, it is told that every day, only in the afternoon, and only after paying tribute to the porter, could one enter. Then the friars, who always lived inside the church, would stand in front of the anointing stone and welcome the pilgrims. Naturally, the friars immediately accompanied the pilgrims on a tour that started from the entrance of the basilica and proceeded to the different holy places kept in the building. So the origin of the procession, from the very beginning of the friars' presence, stems from the need to welcome the pilgrims and to bring them closer to the spiritual knowledge of the places. The procession over time had developments. Even when the pilgrims were not present, the friars continued alone in prayer. They would walk through the small shrines of the basilica and sing a hymn and read a biblical text appropriate to the place. Then a prayer, a Pater, a Hail Mary and a Gloria to gain the indulgences. And so, from the very beginning, the spiritual reception of the pilgrims, the procession also becomes a devotion of the friars. We understand this also because of the fact that while originally it began at the door and only afterwards proceeded to the tomb, today it begins at the chapel of the friars, where we are, and returns to conclude here. So, pilgrims are now welcomed by the friars in their home and afterwards accompanied to the holy places. The procession is divided into two sequences. One dedicated to reflecting on the Passion, starting from the Blessed Sacrament Chapel to the Anointing Stone. The second, focusing on the Resurrection, continuing to the site of the apparition to Mary Magdalene, returning to the Blessed Sacrament Chapel. Of course, this procession also has a theological meaning. That is, the pilgrims, when they came to the Holy Land, made a big circle. The first circle was from port to port, and they would go to the shrines to visit. But also in Jerusalem there was a theological circle, which went from the Holy Sepulcher to Gethsemane and other shrines, and then in the Basilica of the Sepulchre also a circle within the circle, because inside the Basilica the pilgrim would start from one place, go around the church, and end in the same place. The procession requires the presence of at least 5 friars. One friar leads the pilgrims on their way to the holy places. 2 others beside him sing the songs and hymns, and another carries the incense. At each station, the shrine is venerated and honored by pausing together in prayer at the edge of the space dedicated to the memory of the mystery. So we relive the whole Easter mystery, from Holy Thursday to the apparitions at the cenacle, from the upper room on Holy Thursday to the upper room after the apparitions, and we walk slowly from place to place. We can thus make memory and relive the integrity of this Paschal mystery. There is a hymn which we sing at the anointing stone that says, Utque presens ad propinquo. I approach as if I were present. And so, living close to the holy places and persevering in daily prayer, the friars bring all of humanity to the Paschal mystery of Christ every day, with their faithful presence. In the next installment, we will talk about the status quo and about how the procession is being organized in this time of restoration in the Basilica.